Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Open University.
Hello dear student, have a nice day. Myself Kiran Patel, Assistant Professor in School of Computer Science of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Open University, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Dear students, we are going to start with the course RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. In today's session, we will learn about Block-3, Oracle Server and SQL, in which Unit-1 is a structured query language. This is the second part of the Unit-1 in Block-3. Now we will start with the Block-3. Unit-1 is a structured query language. Here we see the agenda of the Unit-1 in Block-3. From this agenda, in a first session, we have been already discussed about the SQL data types, SQL statement like DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and data definition statement like create table, alter table with add, modify and drop command, rename, truncate and comment command. In today's session, we will discuss with the remaining topics like constraint in details with the example. Now we start with the constraint. It is an important topic in database. Data constraint determines the speed at which the data can be inserted or extracted from the table. The constraints are the rules enforced on the data columns on the table. Using the data constraint, we store the proper data in the database. The data constraint is defined at a column level and or a table level. The column level constraints are applied only one column and at the time of the column is declared, whereas the table level constraints are applied to the whole table and it is applied at the end of the table. There are two types of the data constraint. First one is the IO constraint, means the input output constraint, and second one is the business rules constraint. Now we see the first IO constraint. This data constraint used when the data can be inserted or inputted or extracted or fetch the data from the table. There are two types of the IO constraint. First is the primary key constraint and second one is the foreign key constraint. Now we see the first one is the primary key constraint. The primary key is used to uniquely identify each row in the table. Primary key must be a unique value and not null, means the column we define as the primary key, it contains a unique value and null or a blank are not allowed. The primary key create on a single column is called the simple key and it will create on a multiple column is called the composite primary key. It is not a compulsory but it is a recommended. It helps to identify or differentiate one record from the another record. It is also help in relating the table with the another table. Using primary key, we can easily fetch the proper unique records from the table. There are two ways to define a primary key in the table. First is the column level and second one is the table level. See the primary key defined at a column level. Here the primary key is defined at the time of the column is declared. The create table student. Student is a table name. In the bracket, roll number is the column name. Is contain, roll number contain only numeric value. So its data type is a number and size is 3. It is a primary key. means the data in a roll number column does not repeated or duplicated or cannot be null. It contains the unique data. Next column is the Aadhaar card number. Aadhaar card number column is contain the unique value or it contains the numeric value. So we can define as a number in the bracket 12, size is 12. We can also make the primary key to Aadhaar card number because it also contains the unique value. Thus, we can make the primary key either to the roll number or the Aadhaar number. Choice is yours. Now, the third column is a name. Name contains the alphabets. So, its data type is a varchar 2 and size is 10. Means the name column contains the maximum 10 character. Then the bracket over and at the end of the command put the semicolon. See, in the figure, roll number is a primary key. It contains the unique value and it cannot be null or a blank, otherwise error will be generated. Here, this is not allowed. Null value is not allowed. This is the correct table and this one is not correct if the roll number is a primary key. Now, see the primary key defined at the table level. Here the primary key is defined at the end of the table is defined. All the column is defined, then after primary key is defined. The primary key can be created on a multiple column using table level. For example, create table student in the bracket roll number, number, size 5, then comma, Aadhaar number, number and the bracket 12. Name column, data type is varchar 2 and size is 10. At the table level, primary key is defined like primary key in the bracket and roll number comma Aadhaar number. This both column is become a primary key. Here we make the combination of two column, roll number and Aadhaar number is become a primary key. Now we add the primary key on existent table, means the table is already created. After that we make the primary key in the table, means we create the primary key in existent table, then alter add command is used. For example, alter table student, add primary key in the bracket roll number. So in the student table, roll number become a primary key or roll number add in the student table as a primary key. Here the student table is already created and then after we add the primary key to the roll number column. Now we remove the primary key from the table. For this we use the alter drop command. For example, alter table student, drop primary key in the student table, it will delete the primary key or it will remove the constraint primary key. Now, if the constraint are defined, alter table definition or alter creating or altering the table structure is called the table level constraint. Now the next one constraint is the foreign key constraint or a self-references constraint. The foreign key constraint, it represents the relationship between the tables. The relationship between the tables matches the primary key in a one of the table with the foreign key in another table. The foreign key is the column or a group of the columns whose values are matched with the primary key of the some other table. The table in which the foreign key is defined is called as a foreign key table or a detail table or a child table. The table in which the primary key is defined is called the master table or a primary key table or a parent table. The primary key can be defined in either a creating the table statement or at the alter table statement. Now the foreign key may have the duplicate or a null values. See, the foreign key constraint defined at the column level. Here we see in the example, create table result. In the bracket, roll number, number in the bracket 3. This column is matched with the primary key table. In the primary table, student table, the roll number have a number data type and size is 3. So, it becomes in a result table, it is a foreign key. So, we can declare as a references student. So, roll number in a result table, it takes the reference from the roll number in a student table. Now, here we see the references in a student, comma, the DBMS marks is the another column, number and size is 5, comma, C marks is the column number 5. Now, if we make the foreign key at a column level, then references keyword is used. Now, the foreign key constraint defined at the table level means after the table is created, then we declared the foreign key. For example, create table result in the bracket roll number, number in the size 5, comma, DBMS marks, data type is number and in the bracket size is 5. Then C marks column, then data type is number and in the bracket size is 5, comma. After that all the columns are declared. After that foreign key is defined. See here how to define the foreign key at the table level. First see the foreign key in the bracket roll number, then references, student table, then in the bracket roll number. Means it takes the references from the student table. Roll number in a student table gives the references to the roll number in a result table. If we make the foreign key at a table level, then we write the whole line or whole table is defined. After that foreign key in the bracket roll number, references, student in the bracket roll number is declared. Now, the next is the foreign key constraint, but in which the on-delete cascade. First of all, listen to be carefully. The parent record cannot be deleted if the child record exists. For example, if the child table result have the records of roll number 1, 2, 3, then you cannot delete the records of the roll number 1, 2, 3 from the student table or the parent table directly. First you delete the record from the child table and then you delete the record from the parent table, because in the child table the child table result references is existed from the parent table student. You can do this easily using on delete cascade or on delete set null. Using on delete cascade, here we see if the record is deleted in a master table, then all the corresponding records in the detail table will be deleted automatically. Means If the record is deleted in a student table, then all the corresponding records in the result table will be deleted automatically when we use the on-delete cascade. Here we see in the example, create table result in the bracket roll number size is 5, DBMS marks, number size is 5, C marks, number size is 5 in the bracket, foreign key in the bracket, roll number, reference is student in the bracket, roll number, and last one it writes the on delete cascade. Just add, when we define the foreign key, here just add on delete cascade word. So it used to delete the records from the master table, then automatically records will be deleted in a child table. Now here we see in the example, the roll number is related with the result table roll number. If we delete the record from the student table, then the record will be deleted from the result table automatically. See in the next, on delete set null. On delete set null, it means if the record in the parent table is deleted, then the corresponding record in the child table will not be deleted, but the record in the child table is set to the null. On delete set null is right when the foreign key is defined. For example, create table result in the bracket roll number in the size 5. Then database marks, number, size, then C column is defined. After that, foreign key is defined as it is, and then at the end, on delete set null is written. See in the figure, if we delete the records 3 from the student table, then result table records 3 contains the null value automatically. See, the record third one is deleted. Here all the values are null. So on delete set null is used when we remove the records from the student table or a parent table, then automatically those record set will be null value. The next one is the business rules constraint. Business rules constraint allows the application of the business rules. It defines all the rules of the particular organization needs. It creates the object with the check constraint. The business manager determines or decide the business rules. These rules are applied to the data when the data is being inserted into the table columns. It includes the unique key constraint, not null constraint, check constraint, and default constraint. See, the first one is the unique key constraint. The unique key will not allow the duplicate value, but it permits the multiple null value in the column, which is not permitted in a primary key table or a primary key constraint. When we use the unique key constraint, then unique index is automatically created. A table can have more than one unique key, but the table can have only single primary key. This is the difference between unique key and primary key. See the unique key defined at the column level. For example, create table student. Then in the bracket roll number, size is 5 and unique. Just use the keyword unique. Then second column name is a name. varchar 2 and size is 5. After that, bracket is over and then semicolon. We just put the keyword unique when the column is defined. Now the unique key defined at the table level. After table is created, then after unique key is defined. Here create table student roll number, then name varchar 2 and then size. This table contain only two columns, roll number and name. After that, define the unique constraint, just keyword unique and in the bracket roll number. So, roll number become a unique. Now, the next one is a null constraint. It is used when the actual value is unknown or null value can be inserted into the columns of any data types. A null value is different from the blank or 0. Suppose when we do not know some data in a particular column like phone number column. If we don't know the phone number of particular student whose roll number is 3, then generally we leave the column as a blank or put the 0, but it will create some problems in a future. When we fetch the data whose column contains the blank, then it will not access the data. See, the differences between string and null value. For example, select star from the student where name is blank. When we not enter any data, then it will not fetch any records. When we fetch the data from the table whose name is blank, then this statement will not retrieve any records. See, when we put null value, for example, select star from student whose name is null. See, the null value fetch like this is null. This statement is retrieve all the values, all the records whose values is null. Now, not null constraint. When we use not null constraint, then the table column cannot be left empty. It ensures that the value must be entered into the column when some field is compulsory in the application form, then those fields declared as a not null in the table. For example, create table student, roll number in the bracket 5, then not null. Here we apply not null, means the roll number is a compulsory field. You must have to enter the data into the roll number. Now the name varchar 2 in the bracket 10 is a not null. The name column have also entered the data. It must be compulsory field. The city varchar 2 in the bracket 10. Here the roll number and name field is a compulsory. You must have to enter the data into the roll number and name field. Note is that not null constraint can only be applied at a column level, not at a table level. The next one, the important constraint is the check constraint. It creates the object with the check constraint. Business manager determines or decide the business rules. These rules are applied on the data. It will apply when the data is being inserted or updated into the table columns. Check constraint can be applied at the column level or at the table level using to create the table or alter table command. The check constraint must be executed using the value which is inserted or updated. Here we see the example, check constraint defined at the column level. For example, to insert the records into the student table whose names start with the character S or P and CT is an uppercase letter. See, how to write the query? Create table student, in the bracket roll number, number and then size, comma name. Here we apply the check constraint in a name column. Name varchar 2 in the bracket 10, then check in the bracket column name, name, like in the single quotation S and then percentage. Percentage means number of any character after first character S, or name like in the single quotation P and then percentage sign, means starting with P and percentage means any number of character after P, then comma, then CT varchar 2 10, then check constraint, check in the bracket column CT is equal to upper. Upper is a function name, we see in the later session. The upper in the bracket CT means if we put the value in a CT, it converts in a uppercase letter or a capital letter. At the end, pin code and number and the size and then bracket is over. So here we see the check constraint is applied like this. Now, check constraint defined at a table level. Here we see create table student, then roll number, number 3, then we define name column, after that we define CT column, after that we define pin code column. All the column is defined, after that we define the check constraint. This is called the table level constraint. Check in the bracket, we declared the check constraint in a name column. So, the name like in the bracket S then percentage or name like P percentage. Same, we define as a column level, then as it is we define the check constraint at a table level. Same as CT, CT is equal to upper in the bracket CT. When we enter the data value in a CT column, that it converts into the uppercase and then stored in a CT column. Now the next one, the check constraint is defined using alter table commands. For example, alter table student, modify the roll number, then number, then check constraint in the bracket roll number between 1 to 30. Here we define the check constraint on a roll number, and here we return the check constraint in the bracket roll number between 1 to 30, means here the roll number column will contain 1 to 30 roll number only, means in a one class only 30 students are admitted. After table is existed, the check constraint apply more than one column using alter table command. For example, alter table student, modify in the bracket roll number, number and 3. Then we declared the check constraint, check roll number between 1 and 30. So, it will enter 1 to 30 numbers in a roll number column. Then we define the capital letters in a name column. So, we define the check constraint in a name column. Here we insert the data into the name column, then it will convert into the uppercase letter and stored in a name column. Now city, we define the city column contains only 3 cities, Ahmedabad, Surat and Baroda. So we define the city like check constraint, check in the bracket city and then in, then bracket Ahmedabad, Surat and Baroda. So here the city column contains only 3 cities, Ahmedabad, Surat and Baroda only. If we define not in, then now the next one is the default constraint. The default constraint provides a default value to a column when the record is loaded into the table and the column is left empty. For example, to create customer table with the rating field is set to 100 by default. See in the example, create table customer in the bracket customer number, then number and the size primary key. The customer number is a primary key. Now the customer name varchar 2, then size is 10 is a not null, means the name is a compulsory field. Then city varchar 2 and then 10 comma rating, then number, then size 3. It is a default 100. Default constraint, we declare default constraint like this, default and then value. Here when we insert the record, then if we do not enter any value in a rating column, then it will store 100 value in a rating column by default. For example, we insert the record in a customer table. See, in a example, we write the command like insert into customer, then values in the bracket 101, comma, single quotation Raj Shah, it will store in a name column and then single bracket Surat, it will store in a Surat city column. But here we not give any value 101 Raj Shah Surat and then by default 100 value will be stored in a customer table. Now at the end, thank you all. Today we have been discussed about the SQL data constraint in details with the example. If possible, then I will take some practical session on SQL after syllabus is completed. I will give 3 to 4 lectures of practical after syllabus is completed. In next session, we will start with the remaining topics of this unit, Unit 1 in a Block 3. If you understand this session and getting some knowledge from this session, then please subscribe BAOUGujarat. Now at the end, thank you all.